Hello everyone, and welcome back. Now this is part 3 in my 3-part series to accomplishing and achieving your goal. So you should have already finished part 1 and part 2. Now the first step was setting your values that are important to you, setting those down, writing those down, and then creating your personal mission statement around them. Now in step 2, we talked about setting long-term goals for the majority of your bigger roles in your life or the hats that you wear. So for example, this might be a long-term goal as a spouse or as a parent or maybe even as an employee. So you should have those already created. Now if not, you'll want to stop and review those steps because you need those values and then goals already identified before we can move to step 3. Now step 3, that's what we'll talk about today. And I find that this is the area where most people have the most trouble. It's actually creating a specific action plan and then implementing it. Now, if this is difficult for you too, I'll share with you the information today, and then at the end of the video, I'll share with you a little bit on how you can learn more if you're interested. So, pull your sheets out from step 2, your long-term goals and your roles. You should have those in front of you. Now as you look at those, pull out your planner, whether it's your weekly paper planner or your journal, or maybe you're like me and you use a Google Calendar or your iPhone. But either one, you want to have that planning tool available to you as you go through this process. Now Stephen Covey and Roger Merrill talk about in their book, First Things First, that a week is a natural cycle for us. And so they recommend that you plan a week at a time. Now I like to spend some time on Sunday night or maybe first thing Monday morning reviewing my week ahead and planning ahead. You have to figure out what the time slot is that best works for you. Monday morning might not be the best time if you're rushing to get the kids to school and then trying to get to work as well. So maybe it's worth spending some time Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening preparing for the week ahead. So as you look at your planner and the week is ahead, you've got to look at the non-negotiable things that must get done this week. So work is an example of that. We have to work and we have to spend the time doing those things. So that's non-negotiable. So what we want to focus on is the time that's not dedicated, that's available to be used in helping us reach our goals. So for an example, if a long-term goal for you is to increase your fitness level because you want to be healthier or maybe a little better fitness. So if your long-term goal is to be in better health and maybe you want to run a 5K, then you want to look down at your planner and we're going to set some very small, specific, measurable goals that you can take this week to take you closer toward that goal. Now you just want to identify 1 or 2 things that are most important in each of your long-term goals. And that's it. Resist the temptation to choose 3 or 4 or 5 thinking that more is better, because it's not. We simply want to focus on just the 1 or 2 things that are most important. So again, if you're, for example, your goal might be to run a 5K in 3 months, the 1 or 2 most important things that you can do this week is to probably spend some time walking or maybe light jogging. Now let me say this. We are 300% more likely to accomplish a goal if we will commit to a specific day and time to take that action. 300%. So it's very easy to say, well, I'll exercise twice this week. But that's not necessarily going to help us be successful. So as you look at your week ahead, instead of saying I'm going to exercise twice this week, find 2 specific time slots that you can do that and dedicate that time to that action. Very specific. Now this is based on an acronym called SMART. It stands for specific and measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. SMART goals are goals that are very specific, they're measurable, we know what success looks like, it's attainable. It's something that you know with 100% complete confidence that you can achieve that goal. Start small here. Sometimes it's very easy to be overwhelmed with a big goal. So I want you to break it down into very specific and small, easily achievable goals. Now, relevant means it's important to help you reach that long-term goal. And time-bound means there's a very specific time set, time and date. Again, the more specific and relevant you can get here, the more successful you're likely to be. So, as you look at that planner, commit to those just one or two actions that are most important. Now let me say here, to build up our character and our personal integrity, we need to start small, and we need to keep and honor those commitments that we make to ourselves. Protect that time slot and that commitment just as much or perhaps more as you would to a commitment made with somebody else. So we start small and we build up our personal integrity and we build up our mind muscle over time. And we develop that by starting small goals, reaching them, and then setting a little bit bigger goal and reaching it, and then a little bigger goal. And so you get the picture. But it does take time. But that's the best way to build up our commitment to ourselves and to know that when we commit to something, we mean it. And that's going to help us ensure success. Now, as you live through each day, there's going to be plenty of opportunities and challenges for you to try and negotiate with yourself about that goal and say, well, it's not as important as I thought it was. Resist the temptation to do that here. If you plan it and put it down on your calendar as something you're going to commit to, then you need to commit to it unless it's an extreme emergency. Don't let it be a negotiable thing. If you're committed to this long-term goal, you've got to start with those small commitments just this week. The next week we'll build up a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger. Now it requires the self-discipline to do that. It's the execution. It's one of the areas that people find most challenging. It's not the lack of knowledge that holds us back, it's the application. And this is one of the areas that sometimes gives us the most trouble. That's why we need some accountability sometimes, or maybe an accountability partner. That's why when you commit to working out with a buddy, you're much more likely to get it done because you've got an accountability partner, someone to help you be successful. Now, that's one of the reasons I'm creating a new success coaching program, is to help you be successful in this. Now, if you're interested in more information, look for those coming out in just the next few days. The momentum of the new year is right around the corner. And most of us will be focused on some new health and fitness goals or some New Year's resolutions. And I've created a program that's going to help you be successful in reaching those. Now, the new year is just around the corner, just about 6 weeks away. But I'll be offering a special registration bonus for those people who are willing to commit a few weeks early, even before Christmas. So I'll give you some more information on that coming up soon. In the meantime, make sure that you've committed to your specific actions in your planner, and you should have those SMART goals set down. Now, as you work through those each week, don't forget to protect some time at the end of your week and review. So maybe on Friday night or Saturday night, stop and look back and take a few minutes and look back at the end of your week. What did you accomplish? Did you get everything done that you wanted to? And if not, why not? And what can you do differently next week? None of us are perfect, and it is a cycle. But as long as we're continually taking steps to improve, we will get better. It doesn't have to be giant leaps every day. Just small, daily, consistent progress toward our goal will help us reach it. Consistency is the key, though. It's the daily discipline and the consistency and following through that's going to help us get there. Thank you.